So in today's video, I'd like to talk about how individuals can use their gains from Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies to move to the US. Nowadays, many investors are looking for ways for how they can utilize their cryptocurrencies and potentially move to the US, relocate to somewhere, a country or a city that's very receptive to them and to the overall crypto community. One way a crypto investor might be able to move to the US is through the E2 visa. Now, the E2 visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows an individual from a treaty country to move to the US through an investment. Sound too good to be true? Well, one way a crypto investor can move to the US is through the E2 visa. Now, what is the E2 visa? The E2 visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows a national from a treaty country to move to the US through an investment in a business here within the US. My name is Jack Findaro. I'm the co-founder and managing partner of Visa Franchise. And we're headquartered in Miami, Florida, which is the self-proclaimed crypto capital of the world. Now, since launching in 2009, Bitcoin has had a meteoric rise, and it's led to many investors, particularly early investors who hodled over all these years, to have enormous gains in their enormous returns in their investment. And now many of them are wondering, hey, what can I do with this investment? Where would I like to live moving forward? One solution, obviously, is to move to the US through the E2 visa. Now, I like to go through the 5 criteria that are required for someone to obtain an E2 visa. So criteria number 1 is proof of funds. The investor must show that they possess and control the necessary funds that they're going to use for the E2 investment. In addition to this, they also must show that the funds were created through legitimate means. Now, what are some examples of this source of funds, proof of funds? It could be income, regular income generated from business or an investment. It could be via loan. It could be via gift. There's a number of ways for someone to demonstrate to the US government that they've obtained their funds legitimately and not through criminal activity. As it pertains to loans, I'll be producing a separate video showing you, a crypto investor, how you could use loans from collateralized crypto that you could then use to invest into business and move to the US without having to sell your crypto if you want to hodl for indefinite amount of period of time. Criteria number 2 for the E2 visa is to be a citizen of a treaty country. Now, what's a treaty country? It is a country that has a sort of treaty called the Commerce and Navigation Treaty with the United States. And if you're wondering if you are an individual from one of those countries, here you can check out this link and you'll be able to see a list of those countries. There's over 70 countries that an individual can be a citizen of that can qualify for an E2 visa. Criteria number 3 for the E2 visa is that the investor must invest a substantial amount. So many people ask, what is a substantial amount? What's the exact amount? What's the threshold I need to pass? Now, from our experience, Visa Franchise working with hundreds of clients from all over the world, we generally see if someone invests at least $100,000, usually $150,000 and up, that counts as a substantial amount in the eyes of the US government. For the E2 visa is to show business ownership and control of an operational business. So what this means is that the investor needs to invest in a company that they could either own 100% or that they own at least 50%, typically 51% of, to demonstrate to the US government that they have the ability to manage and control the business entity. Criteria number 5, the investor needs to have invested or be in the process of investing in an operational business for their investor visa. Those are the main criteria for an investor looking to invest in a business that can qualify for an E2 visa. Those are the main criteria that the US government looks at. There's other very minor points that they might look at, but those are the main points for anyone that's interested in investing in a business for their E2 visa. Now, What are the benefits of an E2 visa? Here I'd like to go through the three biggest benefits for an investor or an individual to do an investment that can qualify for the E2 investor visa, which I believe is the most important for cryptocurrency investors or hodlers to know, is that the individual would not be subject to global US income tax. They would not be subject to that. That's why we've had many clients who elect to do an investment for the E2 visa, because they know that they won't necessarily then, like a US national or a green card holder, be subject to the global tax regime and jurisdiction of the US government. Now, I do want to mention one important caveat, is that this is assuming that the person fails the substantial presence test. Now, if you don't know what the substantial presence test is, it's a formula that has been created by the IRS that you can see at the link here, which any individual can use to see whether they pass or fail the substantial presence test and are therefore under the jurisdiction of the US government for global taxes, or whether they are not. Benefit number 2 is that it enables the individual who possesses the E2 visa, as well as their family, which includes their spouse and their children up to the age of 21, easy access in and out of the US. They can come in and out as they please, as long as they have that E2 visa and it's valid. This is a huge benefit for individuals that want to spend at least some time in the US and maybe want to or need to go back to their home country or other countries to conduct business or travel. Benefit number 3 is that it's typically a 5-year renewable visa. The term will depend on the nationality of the individual, where they're from, and the actual treaty between the US government and their country. But typically it's a 5-year renewable visa, assuming that the business is open and operating during that time. This is a huge benefit for individuals that instead of having to apply for a visa every year, they can just come in and out over that period, and then as the period is expiring, they could just reapply again, assuming that the business still meets the criteria for the E2 visa. Now, at this point, you're probably asking, how can Visa Franchise help? And I like to go through those points as well. Our principal focus is to find and analyze businesses that can qualify for the E2 visa. It's what we've been doing since we were founded back in 2015. We've helped hundreds of individuals and their families move to the US through investments that qualified for the E2 visa. Our clients hail from over 60 countries around the world. We take time to understand our clients' profiles because we know every client is unique. Every client's going to want to invest different investment amounts, have a different risk profile. They're going to want to invest in different industries, a whole number of criteria that we go through with every client during our process, our onboarding in debrief process. We act as the go-to advisor throughout the whole process, liaising with our clients' immigration attorneys. We focus on the business side. The immigration attorney focuses on the legal side, which is the visa application. Our team is constantly conducting research to improve our offerings and to better serve our clients. So if you can imagine, we've been able to utilize our experience over these years to continually increase the value of our service and provide a better offering to our clients that are looking to contract Visa Franchise's services. I hope this video has been informative for those individuals, particularly within the cryptocurrency community, Bitcoin community, Ethereum community, altcoin community, who are looking at moving to the US through an investment using their returns generated from holding these cryptocurrencies. We already have experience of clients that have done this in the past. We believe that we're going to have even more clients in the future who want to do this due to the meteoric rise of cryptocurrencies, and we're more than happy to help you along the way. If interested, I invite you to reach out for a consultation to Visa Franchise through this link here, or to visit our website to browse on your own through the link here. It's visafranchise.com. And with that, my name is Jack Findaro. I hope you found this video informative. If you'd like to do more research on your own and see more videos, please feel free to subscribe to the Visa franchise link here. You can see our YouTube page where you can see all the videos, a whole library to browse at your leisure. Thank you and take care.